She never mentions the word addiction. In certain company, yeah, she'll tell you she's an orphan after you meet her family. She paints her eyes as black as night now, pulls those shades down tight. She gives a smile when the pain comes. Pain's gonna make everything alright. Says she talks to angels. They call her out by her name. Says she talks to angels. They call her out by her name. Yeah. She keeps a lock of hair in her pocket, wears a cross around her neck. Yeah, the hair is from a little boy, yeah. And the cross is someone she has not met, no, not yet. Oh, she talks to angels. They call her out by her name. Says she talks to angels. They call her out by her name. She don't know no lover, none that I ever see. But to her that ain't nothing. But to me it means, hey, everything. She paints her eyes as black as night now, pulls the shades down tight, and gives a smile when the pain comes. Pain's gonna make everything alright, yeah. Says she talks to angels. Oh, they all know her name. Says she talks to angels. Oh, they all know her name. Oh, and through it all, she offers me protection, a lot of love and affection, whether I'm right or wrong. And down the waterfall, wherever it may take me, I know that life won't break me when I come to call. She won't forsake me, no. Yeah, I'm loving angels instead. So we talked a little bit yesterday. I told a story about one of my own experiences with a friend dealing with addiction, and we talked about authenticity. One thing I want to talk about today And the thing I want to focus on is that God is so much bigger than we think God is. One of my favorite theologians, writers, authors, read everything he's written, find him on a podcast, follow him on Instagram, Brad Jersak. Love Brad Jersak. He tells a story in one of his books about a woman he met who was in Narcotics Anonymous. Now, I'm paraphrasing, so bear with me, but one of the steps is making restitution. And so she wanted to talk to someone who was representative of the church. And Brad had been a pastor for a lot of years, so they arranged to meet for coffee. And she apologized, and part of her restitution was apologizing for judging the entirety of the church. And so, Brad accepted that, but he asked her, why did you harbor these feelings for the church? And she mentioned that she had been sexually abused by a member of the church. And Brad goes, well, you have every right to judge the church, every right to judge the church. And he apologized and repented on behalf of the church to her. And as they move further along in the conversation, part of the anonymous programs is a higher power sort of thing. So he was asking her some questions about that. She says, well, I just know him as the light. So Brad asked her some questions about, well, what is, how do you feel when you encounter the light? She says, well, I feel warmth, I feel forgiven, I feel loved. And so he says, well, how do you interact with light? Well, I pray. I pray to the light, and I pray and listen for about 45 minutes a day. And as the conversation went further and further, it became apparent to Brad that the light, she was experiencing Jesus. She just didn't call the light that name, didn't call the light Jesus. But it was very obvious to Brad, pastor, theologian, that the relationship she was having, she talked about the relationship she was having with the light, was a relationship with Jesus. She just didn't have that name yet. And so Brad talked to her and told her, well, the name of the light is Jesus, and these things you are experiencing are Jesus. Now, one of the things I appreciate about Brad is that she didn't all of a sudden decide to call the light Jesus then and there. There isn't the easy answer conversion story. So it's open-ended. But very obviously, she was encountering Jesus in a non-traditional way, in a say these 4 things in a prayer kind of way, that Jesus was showing up for her. And that's one of the things I love about this song. This song is all about addiction and struggle. But there's a couple of ways that, there's a couple of ways you can, talk about the chorus. So she says she talks to angels. Okay, well, obviously that's we write it off as a hallucination, right? That's our temptation. But looking at this with a sanctified imagination, why would we limit God? Do you think God can't talk to people in the midst of their addiction, in the midst of a high? Is our God so small that he is not able to enter into people's lives like this? Of course not. I find encouragement in that That Jesus is still out there in the world. The Spirit is still out there in the world, revealing God, encountering people. And that's just such a beautiful thing. It's such a beautiful thing to know that God is at work in this way, meeting people in their struggle and meeting people in ways that we don't understand, that are beyond the boundaries of what we're willing to understand. But that's the beauty about God. Every time we put God in a box, God busts out and goes, yeah, cool. See that? You're still looking at the box. I'm over here. And I've used this illustration before, but I'm going to use it again. I think sometimes we're like the kid at Christmas that opens the most amazing, phenomenal gift and then is content to play with the box. There is so much in God for us. Let's not be content to play with the box. Let's move beyond the boundaries. And God is calling us from beyond the boundaries to follow. Thanks again for listening. Appreciate you guys. And I'll have an announcement about Vespers at some point this week because I finally figured out how to do it. So anyway, be well, you guys. Be safe. I'll see you again tomorrow.